welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we do have plenty of Barca news up for discussion. We're going to be talking about all of the new contracts that have taken place and those as well that are still to come. And we're going to be talking more about transfers as well, discussing today Santiago Gimenez, the Mexico and Feyenoord striker, who really has been gaining some attention this week. And I also want to talk to you today, guys, about one concern that I have surrounding Jules Kounde. So all of that is coming up. I hope that you're going to enjoy it. Now let's do this. But I would like to start today's video though, first of all, by just saying a very big thank you indeed to all of the fantastic super thanks that have been coming in on the channel. I really do appreciate all of the fantastic support, guys, so really thank you for that. And indeed, we have to start with some big news on Eric García, because the big headline on him right now is that in January, he is not leaving. Eric García will be staying at Barca. That now appears to be 100% final. And it basically comes from the very top there. It comes from Hansi Flick putting his foot down a little bit and saying, I can't afford to lose you. I don't really want to lose a player in my squad who can help us, who can provide cover when needed. I don't really want to lose a player like that. With so many games to come, of course. And like we said earlier on, we're talking about 10 million euros for him, an offer from Girona. Como as well were interested in Italy. They're not going to pay massive money for him. And I just think at Barca, it doesn't make sense to lose a player for that kind of money at this stage of the season here. So Flick has transmitted his confidence in Eric García. He said to him, look, you will play a part. You know, you may not be the first name on the team sheet, you may not be a starter really in my team, but you are going to be there, you are going to be involved, and I'm going to be counting on you in certain games, in certain moments. Of course, came on against Benfica, scored a brilliant header in that incredible Champions League turnaround, and Eric García, he is staying, he is happy enough to stay, of course, at Barca, and then maybe at the end of the current season, then his future will be re-evaluated once again, and maybe in the summer, we could be talking about even more money coming in that's on the table for him. But indeed, guys, speaking about players here in Hansi Flick's team who have a part to play, well, one of the big contract renewals that has been now confirmed today, Gerard Martin is staying at Barca there. He has renewed his contract until 2028, and I think this is a renewal here that maybe has surprised a few people, you know, the desperation from Barca to tie him down for more years at the club. What you'll always say with sort of renewals like this, though, it's not going to be on big money. You know, this wouldn't have really cost the club anything at all just to renew him, just to keep him at the club for more years and basically extend that deal. And of course, this is a player that Hansi Flick does seem to trust. You know, throughout the season, obviously, we are not blessed with options at left back. It's not as though Hansi Flick has a wealth of options at his disposal there. So Gerard Martin, he's another player, really, that's just there to do a job. You know, we know that he's not going to set the world alight. We know that he's not performing at the very highest level. But has there been any improvement from him since the start of the season? Of course, he started off under real pressure. You know, he made some very high-profile mistakes. He was a real weakness in the team whenever he was played. Has he gotten a bit better? Has he improved a little bit, of course, since those early season nerves, maybe? Is he growing into that role a little bit more? Like I said, I don't think he's going to be a starter here at Barca. You know, I don't even know how long he's going to actually continue at the club, really. I mean, mainly I see him as a sort of stopgap option until we have better and improved cover there for Alejandro Balde. But Martin, he is staying at the club this season, of course, and he will continue to play a role in Flick's squad. But of course, guys, the very biggest contract renewal of all, well, that is all to do with Ronald Araujo. And I think it's quite incredible, actually, how quickly all of this has moved along. And it wasn't very long ago, only a matter of days ago, really, that we were debating, is he going to stay? Is he even going to be here at the end of January? Juve were very interested. I think Araujo probably used that interest there in him to some degree, and also, of course, the fact that his existing deal was really running down to ultimately, in the end, get him a contract that he felt he deserved. That he said today, the truth is, I am very happy. It's something tremendous to be able to renew with Barca, to continue for many more years. It's huge happiness. I worked hard for this. He said, I've always noticed the fans' affection. People on the street have been telling me, stay. And that was something amazing there. So Araujo's certainly feeling the warmth of the fans, and that may have contributed here to him continuing at the club until 2031. So is there a really long-term deal for Araujo? However, I think we do have to kind of bring this up because it's really interesting in my opinion there is no word at all on what the release clause is. There is absolutely no information there provided by the club, nothing even leaked to the media. Nobody has any idea what that release clause is. Now remember, when Barca usually renew high-profile players, especially Laporta, has certainly made a big deal of putting those massive clauses in there, basically making them unattainable for any other club. €1 billion release clauses. That has been a theme right throughout his return as the Barca president. But like I say, this time around, there's no info. There is nothing being said about Araujo's release clause. And this comes after the negotiations that were going on. There was rumours there that Araujo didn't want it to be that high. He didn't want it to be completely out of reach of any other club in case something did happen, in case he did end up wanting to leave for whatever reason. He didn't want the clause to be that high. So it's interesting that we don't hear about it. And there were even rumours before that Barca's new contract offer to Araujo included a clause that Araujo could leave next summer for a fixed amount there. I would expect it to be a really high amount, if that is even in there, because yes, these are only rumours, only speculation. But I think it's going to be interesting to see here. Although we have signed a renewal, although everything is good, everything is very, very happy here, there are still a few question marks. There are still maybe a few little uncertainties there in this Araujo deal that maybe may come to fruition in the future. But right now, guys, the club are very much focusing on what comes next. They're looking at more of our key players, more of our important players here to renew at the club. The contract renewals for Gavi and for Pedri, they are next in line. Those have been pretty much agreed between the players and the representatives there. Barca really happy with those renewals, so they're going to be coming up very, very soon. And then after that, we are looking at renewals for Lamine Yamal and also Rafinha too. Barca are really, really keen to renew and extend Rafinha's deal, to reward him for the form that he's shown this season, to keep him at the club. And with Yamal, they've got absolutely no doubt here that he's happy to stay, he wants to renew, he wants to extend, and that one as well is only a matter of time. But of course, one renewal that we are still waiting on, that we are still lacking any information at all about, it's Frenkie de Jong's renewal. Because, of course, now Araujo is renewed. He did not allow his contract there to get into the final 12 months. What will happen with de Jong? Because as every day passes here, Laporta is making it more and more clear, more and more leaks there to the media, that as of the summer, if you are entering your final 12 months at the club and you haven't signed a renewal, you will simply not play. You will not be involved. The club are going to be very firm on this. They're going to be very, very strict. They are not going to allow that to happen. So we are going to see here very important, very crucial months for de Jong and for Barca coming up. What will happen? However, guys, one player that I would also really like to talk about here in today's video is Santiago Gimenez, the 23-year-old Mexican and Feyenoord striker. And it actually comes here from a question coming in on the Super Thanks. Big, big thank you indeed. I like watching your videos from Chicago, and I'm Mexican, and I've got a question here. What you think about Santiago Gimenez? He's in form right now, just beaten Bayern, 2 goals, and I think that we should look into Santi. He's a good striker. Maybe Barca can scout him for the rest of the season. What do you think of him? Well, Santi Gimenez right now, he is outstanding in terms there of a centre forward. Like I say, only 23 years old, so that is young in terms of a pure number 9. That is very, very young indeed. 7 goals in 10 starts in the Eredivisie this season for Feyenoord. He's been incredibly prolific in front of goal, not only this season, but even last season in the league. 29 starts, 23 goals. Season before that, 21 starts, 15 goals. So this is a man here who clearly knows where the back of the net is. He is a pure out-and-out number 9, and he's a great goal scorer. He has shown that now year upon year upon year. Now, the problem why maybe he's not as hyped as other number 9s are out there right now, despite his form, people are often sceptical about signing forwards purely based on their form in the Eredivisie. It's seen there as a league where you can score goals, you can really impress. You know, we've seen it over the years where players maybe don't quite follow up that form. But I think his Champions League form's interesting and something to certainly pay attention to there. Yeah, those 2 goals against Bayern were absolutely fantastic. And don't forget as well this season, he's also scored against Man City in the Champions League. He's got 4 goals in 4 games in the UCL. And there is interest in him right now. AC Milan are one of those clubs who'd really like to make a move happen. They're pushing for him here in the January transfer window. But all signs right now say that Feyenoord, they want to keep him right up until the summer. That they're hoping he will stay with them until the end end of the season before then making his big move. And I'm sure here, when we're thinking about number 9s, when Barca here are tracking the top forwards in the footballing world right now, I am absolutely sure that they will be keeping an eye on what Santi Gimenez is doing, because he is a very, very big talent. However, guys, aside from all of that transfer stuff right now, I would also like to talk to you today about just a few concerns I've had about the Barca on-the-field action there. Looking at the game, of course, against Benfica, which in general was a bit of a mess. I'm talking about defensively. It was a bit all over the place. And of course, we've had some difficult games in La Liga over the past weeks and months there. And I want to talk today about Jules Kounde, because I think we'd all agree that in terms of the year that we've seen from him so far, going forward, he has been phenomenal, which is quite incredible, because with Kounde at right back, one of the concerns always was, since he was originally a centre-back, he moved out to right back, and we always all thought, well, can he do it going forward? You know, is he your traditional Barca fullback that's going to provide a real attacking outlet? Well, he's showing that right now. Going forward, he's even starting to score goals. He's starting to make runs inside of the box. It's quite incredible to see what he's doing. And of course, he's got such a great range of passing. We've seen crosses from him. We've seen crossfield balls that are absolutely joyous. But what I actually want to focus on right now regarding Kounde is defensively. The work that he's actually doing as a defensive player in our system, because, and I don't know if you guys have sort of noticed this, or maybe you agree with me in any way here, or maybe I'm just on my own, but our right side of defence, it's starting to be targeted. It really, really is. You look at the game against Benfica there, the amount of times that they were able to just make their way into space on their left side, on our right, it was really, really concerning. And I even look at the Getafe game, they were specifically targeting that right back zone. They were really there trying to double up. They were trying to really go for Jules Kounde. And I'm just wondering here, maybe, on all of that emphasis to get him forward, to get him involved. We know all about his combination with Yamal going forward. It's outstanding. But is there a price to pay for that? You know, are we starting now to see a little bit of weakness because he's going forward, because he's having more freedom offensively? Is there a bit of a weakness creeping in when you're looking at our team from a defensive standpoint? And of course, it's not just on him to ultimately understand and ultimately to fix that, because it's also about maybe just adjusting the team there, putting a bit more emphasis on the midfield. You know, Marc Asada to do a bit more defensive work there, to cover in on that right side when Kounde does indeed go forward. So I just think right here, there are a few concerns. We are seeing more and more teams really go for us at right back. And I would just look at that, and I would just be very, very careful about finding the right balance on that right side there, about getting things absolutely spot on, and basically making it difficult for teams to target one area, basically making it difficult there for one area to stand out. Because right now for us, there's a lot happening when teams are attacking on their left. There's a lot happening there down that side. And that for me is an area right now which, like I say, let me know if you do agree, or if you don't, that I just feel we need to look at, guys. So please do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. A few just little thoughts from me here today. Let me know your thoughts as well on the transfer side of things and everything that's going on with the contract renewals. I will see you soon, of course, as we will be building up to the weekend's clash back in La Liga. Let's see how that is going to go. I will see all of you guys then. But until next time, as always, Vesca, El Barça.